Developing Apache Spark applications traditionally requires managing clusters and tight coupling between your development environment and execution infrastructure. This creates friction for iterative workflows like data exploration, debugging, and incremental development. AWS Glue interactive sessions now support Apache Spark Connect to address these challenges. You can develop and run Spark applications from your preferred environment, including Jupyter, Visual Studio Code, or Amazon SageMaker Unified Studio, while execution happens on AWS Glue's serverless infrastructure. You submit jobs using a thin client architecture that decouples your client application from the Spark execution environment, enabling you to use the tools you already know without managing clusters. This architecture enables you to debug and explore data iteratively, developing PySpark jobs step by step before deploying to production. The decoupling also isolates client dependencies from server-side runtime, simplifying upgrades and improving stability. You can monitor sessions with real-time visibility through Spark UI and History Server, and manage sessions using AWS Glue API, CLI, or SDK. Building production-ready AI agents requires managing vector databases, data pipelines, and retrieval infrastructure, which slows down deployment and increases operational overhead. Amazon Bedrock Managed Knowledge Base eliminates this complexity by providing a fully managed RAG service. You can connect 6 native data sources including S3, SharePoint, Confluence, Google Drive, OneDrive, and Web Crawler with automatic syncing to ingest enterprise data without manual pipeline management. The service deploys hybrid search, document ranking, and agentic retrieval that orchestrates query planning and re-ranking for complex multi-hop queries, improving retrieval accuracy. You can build multimodal knowledge bases that span text, video, audio, and images to support use cases like employee assistance and customer support automation. Integration with Bedrock AgentCore enables you to connect knowledge bases to agents with auto-generated permissions and built-in observability, streamlining production deployment while the service handles storage optimization and retrieval infrastructure. Building agent orchestration infrastructure consumes significant engineering time. You must handle the orchestration loop, tool execution, context window management, state persistence, failure recovery, and session isolation. AgentCore Harness eliminates this work by providing these capabilities as a managed service. You define your agent and configuration by specifying the model, tools, skills, and instructions, and AgentCore assembles and runs the orchestration loop. Your agent runs in minutes in an isolated environment with file system access, memory across sessions, and web browsing. You can switch between models mid-session without losing context or modifying agent logic. The harness integrates with platform-level security policies, identity management, and observability, so every agent action is governed and traced. When you need custom orchestration, you export the harness to code with a single CLI command on the same platform without rebuilding your agent. Agent failures often occur silently without error signals, appearing functional on dashboards but causing issues that surface through customer complaints weeks later. You need a way to detect these behavioral failures, understand their root causes, and deploy fixes with confidence. AgentCore addresses this by surfacing failure, intent, and trajectory insights across hundreds of sessions to reveal patterns you would miss in dashboards or individual trace reviews. The system then generates data-grounded recommendations for system prompts and tool descriptions based on observed agent behavior. Before deploying changes, you can validate them through batch evaluation against your test dataset to catch regressions, then run A/B tests on live production traffic to confirm improvements hold under real conditions. This creates a continuous improvement loop that turns production traces into validated fixes, working across AgentCore runtime, Lambda, EKS, or non-AWS environments. Security teams face significant overhead triaging code scanner findings, often dealing with false positives that slow down remediation efforts. Developers also lack the ability to perform security scans and remediation without context switching from their development workflow. AWS Security Agent now addresses these challenges through simulated validations and IDE integrations. You can trigger security scans directly from Kiro and Claude Code IDEs, eliminating the need to switch tools. The service validates findings by simulating exploits in an isolated sandbox environment, providing proof of exploit so you can trust results and minimize false positives. You can integrate with GitLab, GitHub Enterprise, Bitbucket, and Confluence to connect your existing source control platforms. Within your IDE, you can build threat models, run code scans, and remediate validated findings from code reviews and penetration tests, streamlining your security workflow without leaving your development environment. When you use AI coding agents with AWS, retrieving secrets as plain text exposes sensitive values in agent context, session logs, and model memory. This creates a risk where credentials and other secrets become visible throughout your agentic workflows. AWS Secrets Manager now provides a secret safety skill in the Agent Toolkit that solves this problem through a two-layer approach. You can use secrets and AI agents without exposing values by having the agent construct commands that reference secrets rather than retrieve them directly. The skill steers agents to construct commands instead of retrieving secrets, prompting you to clarify intent when needed. Secret references are then resolved at execution time only in a separate child process outside the agent. This prevents secrets from appearing in logs or context windows while maintaining your workflow. The skill works with Claude Code, Codex, and Cursor in all AWS regions where Secrets Manager is available. Threat modeling requires specialized expertise and significant manual effort, making it difficult to implement consistently across development cycles. AWS Security Agent now includes threat modeling capability that addresses this challenge. You can generate threat models from your code and design documents, allowing the agent to analyze your application architecture, data flows, and trust boundaries automatically. The capability identifies threats using the STRIDE framework with mitigations, providing actionable recommendations across all 6 STRIDE categories. You can integrate with IDEs for early design phase assessment, enabling developers to address threats before deployment through tools like Kiro and Claude Code. Security teams can perform pre-deployment assessments against both design documents and source code. You can access at no cost during public preview in all regions where AWS Security Agent is supported, making it accessible for teams to adopt this agentic AI reasoning capability without additional expense. Organizations running database workloads on Amazon RDS need better performance and cost efficiency as data volumes and transaction loads increase. Amazon RDS now supports Graviton 5-based M9G database instances for PostgreSQL, MySQL, and MariaDB, delivering up to 30% performance improvement and up to 23% price/performance improvement over Graviton 4-based instances. You can deploy M9G instances for your existing RDS databases to immediately benefit from the Graviton 5 processor architecture built on the AWS Nitro system. You can scale to 192 vCPU with the new 24s large and 48s large instance sizes to handle demanding workloads. You can utilize up to 100 gigabits per second enhanced networking bandwidth and up to 72 gigabits per second EBS bandwidth for high-throughput data operations. You can access these instances in U.S. East regions including North Virginia and Ohio, U.S. West Oregon, and Europe Frankfurt, with support for specific database engine versions documented in the Amazon RDS documentation. Finding vulnerabilities has become faster with frontier models, but deciding which vulnerabilities matter to your business, proving exploitability, and coordinating fixes across teams still takes days of manual work. AWS Continuum addresses this by automating the full vulnerability lifecycle at machine speed. You can prioritize vulnerabilities using context graphs of your environment and business to focus on what matters. The service validates which vulnerabilities are exploitable by building reproducible proof in isolated sandboxes. You can apply fast, reversible mitigations within guardrails you define, followed by durable fixes that route through your review and deployment process with blast radius visibility and rollback capability. The service also generates threat models automatically from design documents or source code and outputs results in STRIDE format. AWS Continuum integrates with your existing security tools in AWS services like Guard Duty and Security Hub, shifting your security team from manual triage to setting direction and approving outcomes. When developing and debugging bioinformatics workflows, you previously lacked visibility into execution details until a workflow run completed, slowing down iterative development cycles. AWS HealthOmics now addresses this by streaming workflow engine logs to Amazon CloudWatch in real time. You can monitor workflow execution progress as it happens, giving you immediate access to what your workflows are doing. You can view orchestration events and task scheduling details to understand how tasks are being distributed and executed across your workflow. You can set up CloudWatch alarms on log patterns to detect anomalies early, enabling proactive intervention before workflow failures cascade. When errors occur, you can access full-stack traces on errors during runs, eliminating the wait time for post-mortem analysis. This capability works with Nextflow, WDL, and CWL workflows, and you can build dashboards for ongoing monitoring or integrate with your existing observability tooling to maintain consistent operational practices across your infrastructure. Organizations face challenges managing repetitive tasks across multiple business applications while maintaining unified visibility into data across different sources. Employees waste time switching between applications, manually following up on tasks, and preparing data for analysis. You can now automate recurring workflows with autonomous agents that handle tasks like following up on stalled deals and processing purchase orders continuously. You can query multiple data sources including Snowflake and relational databases using natural language without pre-joining datasets, while quick inherit semantic intelligence from catalogs like AWS Glue and enforces existing permissions. You can manage updates through the redesigned activity feed where you prioritize information, reply to messages, and approve requests without switching applications. You can share quick applications as public websites to extend collaboration beyond your organization. When you scale AI agents in production, you face security risks including prompt injection attacks and sensitive data exposure in agent workloads. Amazon Bedrock AgentCore now integrates Bedrock Guardrails into its policy framework to address these challenges. You can evaluate the outputs of every authorized agent action and inputs of every gateway call in real time, detecting and blocking prompt injections, harmful content, and sensitive information before they reach downstream systems. The guardrail results are evaluated at the agent core gateway perimeter, outside the agent code, ensuring consistent enforcement regardless of how autonomous your agents are. You can author policies through natural language or policy as code, and all policy evaluations are logged via agent core observability for auditing purposes. This works with your existing agent core gateway deployments without requiring new infrastructure, using consumption-based pricing for policy evaluations. Shipping code to production requires ensuring changes meet standards, dependencies are compatible, and testing catches issues before deployment. AWS DevOps Agent Release Management addresses this by automating release validation. You can review code changes for production safety by checking drift from internal standards, dependency impacts, and access controls. It maps cross-repository dependencies to surface-breaking changes before commit and uses deterministic proofs to verify infrastructure changes aligned with AWS well-architected practices. The agent generates and runs test plans for web and API-based applications in your environments, catching regressions, UX issues, and integration failures. Connect your code repositories and pipelines in your AWS DevOps Agent space to get started. The preview is available in US East, North Virginia at no additional cost. Finding data in catalogs traditionally relies on technical metadata like schema and table names, which makes it difficult for analysts and AI agents to understand what data represents and how to use it correctly. You can now enrich your Glue Data Catalog tables with glossary terms and custom metadata fields that describe business meaning. The new Glue Search API lets you find tables by semantic meaning rather than just structure, combining technical and business context in a single query. You can add skills to the catalog that direct AI agents to additional context about your data, grounding them in trusted definitions instead of inferred context. MCP-compatible agents like Claude Code, Kiro, Cursor, and Codex can connect with minimal setup using the AWS Data Analytics plugin from the Agent Toolkit for AWS. This capability is available in preview in US East, North Virginia, US East, Ohio, US West, Oregon, and Europe, Ireland.